Danielle Steel Family Ties. You should be here with me and the kids, she said mournfully, and a moment later she was in tears again. I have to be with my family today, he explained again. She just didn't seem to get it, or didn't want to. There was no way he would have been anywhere but here today. And after only 4 weeks, it wasn't fair or petty to expect him to ditch his family for her. He was upset that she had made such a fuss about it, but he offered to come to see her late that afternoon. He had presents he wanted to give them. He promised to call Petty as soon as he thought he could get away. Have a nice day, she said, still sounding hurt and disappointed, and he didn't apologize to her again. She had to understand that his family was important to him. I love you, Ted, Petty said sadly. She sounded as though she had lost her best friend. I will see you later, Ted responded. He still wasn't ready to tell her that he loved her, and surely not as an apology for spending Christmas with his sisters and aunt. He was upset but not feeling guilty, and it bothered him that Petty was so possessive of him. Ted looked more relaxed when he came out of his room again. At least this time Petty had talked to him. Love troubles? Liz asked him with a raised eyebrow, and he shook his head, surprised that she had guessed and not anxious to open up to her. Why would you say that? Ted commented to his older sister. You never close your door when you are on the phone, unless you are fighting with a girl. Someone new? She asked with interest, and he shook his head. No, just someone I have gone out with a few times. He could just imagine the look on her face if he told his older sister she was 36 years old and had 2 kids. I might go see her this afternoon, he volunteered, and Liz nodded. It didn't sound unusual to her, and she had to go back to her place and pick up a few things for her trip too. While they were talking, Annie had wandered into Katie's room to thank her for the beautiful portraits again. She truly loved them. She noticed a book on Katie's desk about Muslim culture and customs. It wasn't the sort of thing that Katie usually read. She had never been much of a reader, and her taste ran more to biographies of contemporary artists and rock stars. And she had never had an interest in other religions before, or even her own. That looks interesting, Annie said, picking it up. Are you taking a class in Eastern religions? It might actually help us to understand some of the conflicts in the world today. I borrowed it from a friend, Katie said, and turned away. Annie went back to the living room to join the others then. They had all dressed nicely for lunch, and Ted was wearing a coat and tie as he always did for family events. She had always insisted that they dress properly for the holidays when they were children. Liz was wearing a simple little black wool dress, although it barely reached her things. Annie was wearing her favorite red Christmas dress, and Katie appeared a moment later in a red leather skirt, ragedy and stockings and combat boots, a fuzzy white sweater, and Christmas balls hanging from her ears as earrings. She was definitely her own person, but she had just proved to all of them again what a talented artist she was, and Annie was impressed by the book she had seen in her room. She liked to see that Katie was interested in different things and cultures. Katie was a freethinker and never borrowed anyone's ideas without checking them out for himself first. She was a totally independent individual. Annie had tried to open as many doors to them as she could. She had never wanted them to live in a narrow, limited world, and she loved the fact that each of them was so different. Of the three, Ted was the most traditional and Katie the least. She thought that Jane and Bill would have been proud of them too.